Salam everyone and welcome to How to Achieve Financial Peace with your host Mr. Afrah. My main goals for the show is to achieve your version of financial peace and to build generational wealth. I wanted to say congratulations and Ramadan Kareem everyone that's celebrating the holy month of Ramadan. If you're new to the show, please go ahead and subscribe and share with everyone as well. I have the book out, or How to Achieve Financial Peace, on Amazon. You can look at the link in the show note for purchasing, and if you can go ahead and purchase to support me, you can have an ebook version or a paperback version as well. Let's look at what we have for our program today. We have, is my money safe in the bank? Is your money? What is a bank? What are the types of accounts that are offered on the bank? What do banks do with your money when they get your money? What happened to the banks that have been collapsing, and what can we learn from that? And as usual, I'll cover the stock market of today, question of the day, article of the day, quote of the day, and we'll end with ayah of the day. Let's get started with our program. Is my money safe in the bank? I will try to answer this to my best knowledge. So let's start with what is a bank. What would I define as a bank? So banks receive deposits. They receive your money when you deposit. And what can they do with this money? They can make loans. They can give car loans, home loans, personal loans, business loans. They offer investment accounts where you can invest in the stock market, and also they offer CDs or certificates of deposits where they'll give you more money for keeping your money in there a guaranteed time. They also work with currency exchanges, so where they will take your money, and if you need to get a different currency for a different country, they can do that. They also offer safe deposit boxes where you can keep your jewelry and important documents in there. They're usually licensed by the government, so they have to have a license. And in the United States, the deposits are insured by the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, up to $250,000 per customer in your bank. So what are the types of accounts that are offered by the bank? You have your checking accounts, your saving accounts, you have your line of credit, you have your credit card, you have personal loans, you have your mortgage loans, you have a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. They offer car loans and business loans. So they offer different types of accounts. What are the types of banks that are available in the market? So we have three main types of banks. You have retail banks, which are for the general public. For most people, they offer you your savings and checkings and your home and car loans. They can do all of that. And then you have your commercial or corporate banks, which are for business clients. They tend to focus on those. They offer business checking and savings accounts. They offer business loans and real estate financing. You also have investment banking. The investment bankers work with corporate clients, bigger clients, and they offer acquisition and mergers, like buying and selling companies and combining companies. They deal with that. And you also have your central banks. Central banks, they oversee the nation's money supply. So they're usually appointed by the government. They are responsible for the stability of the currency of the country and the economy. They make sure everything is stable. That's their main goal. They are supposed to be independent institutions. They're supposed to be, most of them are not. The U.S. Federal Reserve, which is the central bank for the United States, is the Federal Reserve, which controls the money supply. You also have your credit unions. These ones, they are nonprofit and are created and managed by the customers, also referred to us as members. They offer banking services. They offer a lot of the services a regular bank offers, except they are a nonprofit and technically are owned by the customers. So how do banks make money? So they get our deposit, they get our money, and they loan them the money out to generate interest. They loan the money out to other people. They can give you a 1% interest for bringing your money in the bank. So your money gets 1%. They go ahead and take that money and they loan it the same money out for 5% interest. They give it out to another person who needs a loan, and they charge them 5% interest. And then they make a profit of 4% from your money. They make 4%. So if you have $1,000, 1% is about $10. You will get $10, and they will get 5%, which will be $50, and they will get $40 for their time, for keeping your money. So what happens to my money when it gets actually into the bank? Like we talked about, they will take it and they will lend it out, and they'll make a profit. But if you need your money, they usually have enough cash to cover everyone. Is my money safe in a checking or savings account with everything that's going on today? So the Federal Deposit Insurance in the United States supervises and ensures banks handle our money safely. They're supposed to. Obviously, there's a lot of banks going down, so take that for whatever it is. You are insured up to $250,000 for your checking, savings, and CDs per customer. Just make sure the bank you are opening a bank account is FDIC insured. Make sure they have that FDIC insurance with them before you open your account. And most people won't have $250,000. And if you do, maybe you have a spouse, because each one of you will be covered for up to $250,000 for all your money. What happened to the banks that collapsed? What's going on the last 2 weeks that is going down? Some of the banks are going out of business. So let's look at the Silicon Valley Bank, which is the 16th largest bank in the United States. And it collapsed, and the federal government took over. So what happened? The bank took the deposit from customers and put them in a long-term government treasuries. So they put money, they bought bonds, government bonds, they bought the government's debt. The bonds are government debt. They issue debts to people, and you can buy them, and organizations, and they promise you will give you back money in interest, and then later, when it's done, in 10, 15 years, it will give you your actual money back. So the interest rates rose. When the interest rates rose, the value of those bonds fell. So those bonds were not as much value to the bank. The bank needed the money to pay withdrawals. So remember, the bank has customers; they need to pay them. So they didn't have enough money to pay everyone, and they were short about $2 billion for all the accounts they have, and they couldn't find this money in time. But when people heard that the bank couldn't pay everyone, what did they do? Everybody started pulling their money out. And when everybody started pulling their money out, the bank had to be closed because they wouldn't have enough to pay or everyone. And that's what happened to that bank. But the government said they will refund all the people who had a deposit in that bank, no matter the amount, and that's good news. There's also another bank, Signature Bank, in New York, that failed and also was taken over by the state regulator agency. And this one had more to do with cryptocurrencies, I believe, and also it got caught up, and now it's taken over and it's closed. Another bank that was closed and taken over was Credit Suisse, and I believe this one is in Europe, and this one also went down and was bought out by UBS, bought this one out and took it over. Another bank that's struggling is First Republic Bank. It's going through a lot of issues. They needed to raise a lot of money, and they did, but it seems like the issues are not fixed. Bottom line is, this might not be the end of the banking's failing. Remember, what do we do with your money? Just myself is make sure it's in an FDIC insured bank. And obviously, if you have more than $250,000, what can you do? You wanna not have them all in one bank as much as possible, and that way you're protected. Do I have options for my money? Do you have options? Do I have options? What can we do? Ask yourself, do you need to keep all your money in one bank? Is that possible that you don't need to have all of them in one bank? Can you move some of the money to a different brokerage account with a broker? And can you also move to a credit union? Can you go to a credit union and set up an account there? And or an online bank. Another way to take advantage of today is you can have online banks. Just make sure it's insured as well, your money. So what types of accounts do my personal family have? So what do we have with my family? We have a checking account, a savings account, and a credit card account with one bank. We also have, with that same bank, we have 2 business accounts with that same bank. So we have 5 accounts with one bank. We have another checking account, a brokerage account, a retirement account with a broker where we have some of our money there. So that's the second place we have our money. Our third place is we have a hedge fund with another brokerage account with another broker. Those are 3 different places. And we also have our crypto asset with another brokerage place. So we have at least 4 different places. We have our money spread around, and that's my family. Let's look at the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial is at 32,787. The S&P 500 is at 4,034. The Nasdaq is at 12,847. Gold is at 1,945. Oil is at $69.26. Let's look at Europe. The FTSE 100 is at 7,539. The DAX is at 15,268. The CAC 40 is at 7,131. Let's look at Asia. The Asia Dow is at 3,303. The Nikkei 225 is at 27,466. The Sensei is at 58,214. Let's look at the crypto. Bitcoin is trading on 28,189. Ethereum is trading on 1,789. Let's cover question of the day. Question of the day comes from Ahmed from Seattle, Washington. If you have a question, please email me at howtoachievefinancialpeace@gmail.com. It will be in the show notes. Please go ahead and email me there. So the question of the day, Ahmed from Seattle, Washington asks. Well, thank you, Ahmed, for asking the questions. I got $15,000 in my checking accounts and savings account. I'm freaked out with the bank failing. Should I pull out all my money from the bank? Well, that's a good question to have, especially in this today. In the last couple of weeks, we've seen banks failing, and a lot of people wondering what happened and trying to get their money, and they couldn't get their money out of the banking, especially the banks that failed. So here's my advice, and this is just a general advice. I would say $15,000 is well below the federal insured amount, which is at $250,000. So if your bank would have to close today, the government, the United States government, guarantees your money, so you will be reimbursed unless you don't like your bank for any other reasons. I wouldn't move my money just because of what's going on. But if you feel more comfortable for yourself, you can go ahead and move that money to a different bank or a credit union or an online bank. Whatever will give you peace, and that's the most important thing. What can give you peace? Article of the day comes from the Market Watch, and it's titled "Very Important for Your Cash." Here's what accounts are and are not insured by FDIC by Andrew Schilling. What accounts are insured by the FDIC and are covered. They also talk about what types of accounts are protected, which is your checking and savings and CD. It also mentions what isn't insured by the FDIC, what is not insured by the FDIC, and these are some examples out of your stock investments, your bond investments, and many more that the article will give you more examples. If you have money with a broker, what do they have for insurance? They have SIPC, which is Securities Investor Protection Corporation. And this one will protect you for your investment. They protect against the broker going under. Can you be insured by more money? Can you insure yourself with more when you have more money? There's also talk about that in the article. It's a very nice article that goes with the program today to complement what we learned today. So please go ahead. It will be on the show note, the link. Click on that link and go to that article and read about it. Quote of the day. Quote of the day comes from Dave Martinez, and it goes, "Often bumpy roads lead to beautiful places." Often bumpy roads leads to beautiful places. By Dave Martinez. Eye of the day. My mercy embraces all things. Quran, Surah 7, Ayah 156. My mercy embraces all things.